next set of questions. What is your earliest memory?
Earliest memory? I'm not sure. I can remember the house that I grew up in. I lived there till I was about 7, and I can remember that house. And I can remember really effortlessly doing a handstand in the living room, which I can only assume I could do because I was a toddler and I had a massive head to balance on. Because I've since tried to do a handstand and it is almost impossible for someone as weak as gangly as I am. And I remember being in the garden and a bird pooed on me and I thought I was dying. Like, my world crumbled around me. I didn't realise that could happen. Just everything imploded and I just screamed at my arm for about 40 minutes.
And a girl had dropped my action man from my hand and the arm come off. So I chased under the table and nobody seen us for about 20 minutes. And they come looking for us and I was pulling the girl by her hair because she broke my action man. So, you know, it is funny now, but I mean at the time, you know.
When I was 2, I thought I was older, but apparently I was 2. I robbed this Michael Jackson tape off my brother and my sister. And I used to play it in my room all the time. I used to jump on my bed to it all the time and then I'd flip it over and do it all over again.
Balancing a pound coin on my nose and I was like, for some reason I was pretending to be like a seal, so I'd balance it like and then the pound slipped from my nose into my mouth and I started choking. And I was there like, no one had a clue what I was doing. I'm like, oh, get out of the way, get out of the way. Couldn't speak, obviously, and I remember the teacher just realising what I actually was doing, just grabbed me, picked me upside down and shook me, and I remember just being sick everywhere.
When you asked me that question?
Earliest memory is being sat in a sheep trough, you know, the food troughs,
yeah.
And being like battered by the sheep. Because we used to have a flock of pedigree sheep and Mum used to go and like, she used to put me down in the trough and they used to just eat around me.
I remember wearing a Superman costume that everyone always used to want and running around in that. That's probably one of the earliest ones.
I was so excited about this handmade cake I was having done. I think it was like a noddy cake. And I remember waiting for my friend's mum to bring it to the house. I was in Bath. And yes, she knocked on the door, and so I just got out of bath, dripping wet, ran downstairs naked.
For some reason we were all outside like practising a fire drill, and everyone was all lined up like in their forms, and I just felt really ill like that whole day, and I just like started spewing up, and just in front of everyone, like down this little embankment, the tutor was like, "Oh, you're right, Leon." And I was just thrown up in front of like the whole school who were all lined up.
I got him when he was like a kitten, and then when he was about 2 years old I was born. And he used to terrorise my sister. He used to trap her in the corner and sort of go for her feet with his paws and everything. And then I came along and he thought he could do the same with me. And I remember him sort of coming up to me one day, sort of, I was sitting down, I was about 2 years old, so I was just sitting down playing with my toys and he was going at my feet. And then I sort of looked up and he looked up as well and I just went straight into his eye.
I was eating a sandwich and I was a little toddler and a goose or a duck, just a big white duck, probably a goose, came and took the sandwich out of my hand and then I was really upset.
I went to the doctor's, I must have been like 3, and I got an injection, but that's not the part I remember. I was a fat kid, right? I just remember getting the jelly tots afterwards because they're the best jelly tots in the world.
A bit of carpet that was in the idea of like a city, and then you'd have your little cars and you drive around with them. I remember when my dad used to work in Germany, sometimes it would just be me and my mum at mine, and I'd drive my little cars about on the roads, and that's one of my earliest memories. That and my action men. I love my action men. I used to make them wrestle.
This is a horrible story, but it is true. I did a poo in my potty when I was very young, and I put the poo on my Thomas the Tank drains.
We were upstairs in the living room with like a little kitchenette on the end, and it was just this big rectangular room, right? And I was wearing a dungarees, right? But it was yellow and it was like multicoloured stripes, like the rainbow, but like down like that, right? And I was running from the kitchenette to the other end of the room, but I wasn't just running, I was like crisscrossing my legs.
Going down a water slide in Disneyland, Florida when I was 3.
I was in nursery. I don't know how old you are in nursery, but yeah. And there was a little kid called Shane, and he was being a right dick. And he got moved out, and I remember the teacher saying, that's a shame. And because she said shame and Shane, my head exploded because the words are similar. My little tiny mind couldn't comprehend what she was saying.
I can remember being in nursery, and then they had little tricycles that you could go on up and down and stuff. There was some like plastic little tunnel that you could just crawl through. And then me and my friend with our little bowl haircuts, we just thought, oh, we've got to roll this down a hill inside it, and we did. And then we weren't allowed to play in the field for a week. But it was so worth it.
Being punched in the face by my dad, because everything before that I lost.
I've got an early memory of my brother being born. I remember looking over his incubator as a child, as a 3-year-old. But not a lot else, to be honest. I remember my first day of primary school. I remember playing with sand in a big, well, at the time, what was up to there on me, leaning over like with like water and like stuff, you know.
It's a memory someone else has told me, and I remember it vaguely. But I got lost in Butlins. I used to just walk, like Mum always says, I used to just walk off without saying anything, because I'd go to look at something, and we were at Butlins, and I just walked off to go look at the ducks on the pond, and they were running around Butlins for like an hour trying to find me, and I just said, oh, I've just been sat here waiting for you.
The best thing that's ever happened to me. 3 years ago, at a festival, 3 white ducks followed me around for 3 hours. Honestly, everywhere I went, they followed me, you know. Seriously, I even tried to lose them at one point. I ran around the corner, hid, and they come round and I couldn't believe it. And they even sat round my feet, and like I started helping them clean their feathers, and it was all... it was crazy, but it's weird though, isn't it? That don't happen. But do you know what made it even more weird? I was tripping my bollocks off on LSD. And you see, that, do you know, that really fucking made it weird. And every time I tell this story to someone, they say, no man, the ducks weren't really there. You know, drugs, they make you see unicorns, dragons, ducks, you know. They really were there. It's just a coincidence. The first time 3 ducks decided to follow me around, I happened to be tripping on acid. That's just life, man. Life's crazy like that, you know. But I felt like the daddy duck, you know. We were going to do stuff. We were on a journey, you know. I never felt so connected to another living being in my life, you know. It was truly magic, you know, really. I mean, it was. We were talking about future plans. We wanted to take down the government.
How do you have fun?
I don't really have anything.
If I'm with like my girlfriend, it turns a bit X-rated. I'm trying to perfect this interview laugh, you know. When they interview those superstars, they suddenly have this weird laugh. So, yeah. Are you doing a Ricky Gervais?
I would recommend playing poker. Maybe not for money, although I only play it for money, because if you don't, it's boring, you know. But yeah, poker, fun.
What is your
sex?
biggest? What is your
Sorry, sex and chicken as well.
Writing is a lot of fun. The way me and my sort of writing partner Rob write is the way we've always done it. Really, is we come up with sort of characters, not purposely. We never really sit down and say today let's come up with some characters. We'll just be joking around, like playing like around with concepts and stuff. And a character or a voice might come out of it, and then we might give the voice a name. We start playing around with the voice, sort of like working out the rules and who the character is and how he works, and then putting him into situations. And it sounds quite formulaic when I lay it on the line like that, but it never is. It's just sort of quite a vibrant conceptual thing. We're all sat around just playing around with this idea. And then maybe 20 minutes later, we're falling around on the floor, pissing ourselves laughing. We think, maybe get a pen.
I like to make things, so I'm quite a fidgety person, so I've carved my own chest set and I find that fun. But that doesn't sound very...
It has a balloon, and you know the bit that you put at the bottom of a balloon? Yeah, so...
Yeah, unicorn.
Yeah, so basically the game goes, you put this bit and it's unicorn, and then you put this bit, the balloon bit, and it's unicorn coming back from an orgy, and then you put the balloon bit and it's horny horse, and then it's this and it's horse. And then you choose somebody, maybe intoxicated with something, and then you do it as quickly as possible until they mess it up. So you go like, horse, horny horse, unicorn, Unicorn coming back for an orgy. Horny horse, horse, unicorn, horse, horny horse. I made that up once.
Well, truthfully, my sense of fun is rather boring. It's spending time with my loved ones and friends and watching DVDs.
Sex, drugs and rock and roll. That is cheesy, but...
Ian Jury.
I like to go out. I really like socialising, which is weird because I'm quite awkward. But yeah, no, I like to go out and probably shouldn't say it like this, but I have to have some booze. I like booze. Yeah, no, I like relaxing, so I like to go out and with my friends and hang out.
I think fun is getting away from where you live and putting yourself in other people's shoes and thinking this is where they're gonna live, and you know, going away or doing something that connects you with somebody.
I prefer to be in situations where there's lots of people in a house. Nightclubs around here, if I'm honest, the nightclubs that we go in around here are a bit shit. So I usually sit in a corner just kind of going, this isn't as good as such a place in Manchester, or this isn't as good as such a place in Leeds. And then just wishing I was there, thinking I'm spending money in here drinking and I'm bored.
No, get really high, eat lots of food, or if I'm going clubbing, get really drunk, go to a club that I know that I love all the music.
I don't. Don't lie, I do. I drink, but I don't.
I'm quite good at having fun just doing nothing. I think it's to do with being an only child, where I can just sort of be sat in a dark room and have a great time. You know, I'm not a very depressive person.
Well, like being on stage is really fun and doing comedy is really great, but it does eventually become work, and then you have to write for it and try really hard. So it's nice. I now have fun by not being funny. I've been funny for so long. It's just nice to sit down and with a cup of tea and a big bag of weed and write poetry. I don't know. Yeah, I'm a bit sappy like that.
Yes, hang out with friends. Watching films, I think, is a good one to perk up the old mood. And I like to paint, and I do that if I'm sort of, I don't know, it always picks me up for some reason.
Hi there, my name's Martin, and I've been speaking to this girl online for last 2 months, and she said she'll be coming online soon, so... I'm kind of keeping a video diary, see how things go and if there's any sort of progression. So it's not weird. I've never been very good when it comes to talking to women. You know, I get the butterfly feelings in the stomach. My brain turns to jelly and my words turn to shit. I remember when I was at college and there was a girl at college I quite liked. I came up to her and I didn't know what to say. I got the, you know, the feeling again of the bad, and I literally just stared at her. And that lasted for about 2 minutes. So, twat! Obviously I'd like to meet a proper girl. We'll see how things go with this. It's going pretty well at the moment, so fingers crossed. I'm not a recluse, but I do like my own company. So that's probably not helped me when it comes to moving in on girls. You know, I'd like a bit of companionship. You know, and I just feel a little bit like, oh, 20% off. Huh. I forgot what I was saying. I haven't got work today, so I've just been browsing. Oh my god. Get out of that. The internet's brilliant, so I could be on the internet for hours. There's so many things.